Can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's the interview?
Yeah, it was good. I noticed that I was like when I jumped on, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And as soon as I knew I was actually like entering podcast mode, it was just like robot, but it's all right.
Tell me how it goes.
He's just like, yeah, a bit of feedback I'd give you is just, be yourself. I'm like, yeah, I noticed.
Cool. Anything specific you want to go through today?
I did want to touch on, I booked in to have a 15-minute chat with Liz Walker. Mm-hmm. So that was this afternoon, just before the podcast recording. And I got touching on what we sort of went through yesterday in the leadership call about, being master manifestors. Mm-hmm. And that intellectually I get that, and it's still there was a level of integration I went through yesterday, but I think a lot of me resisted as well because of what happened with Anthony. So I kind of went down that route with her, and she got talking about the fact that she feels there may be some more trauma work to do around that, and potentially Definitely. Even around, sorry?
Definitely.
And also even around like my childhood with my dad injuring his back the way he did. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then the next thing was really I can't even remember how old I was, but basically my dad ruptured his disc in his back. I would have been younger than 7 years old, but it basically meant my dad couldn't work. He ended up having to sue the workplace that he was working for at the time to get any money. So my mum and dad were both at home for a while, and then my mum had to go out to work to support the family. That was like later on, but yeah, I just sort of remember like my dad being in a lot of pain, and there was even talk at one point that he might need surgery for it. Mm-hmm. Mm. And I don't know if that's sort of when I bought into the idea of not being able to have what I want, or
Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
Because when we went through that yesterday, like, yeah, I can see it. But then I sort of think, well, what would have subconsciously played out for me to attract that into my life? And
which part specifically?
It was specifically mainly around Anthony. Like that was what the kind of where I was having tension with it.
Which part with Anthony?
Why would I, choose for my husband to die?
Yep.
Or choose a husband that would die, rather.
Good question. Why would you?
Punish myself for something? I don't know.
So you deserve punishment?
I suppose that stuff we went through over Christmas went through my mind too, like past life stuff.
Mhm. It's gonna be one of those weeks, eh?
What do you mean by that?
Like, it's always interesting to see the themes of what comes up for clients and things like that. Like, it always comes in fucking chunks of like similar kind of shit, which is always interesting.
Hi guys.
Hey Leanne, how are you?
I've just read Cody's day, so
Yep.
yep.
I just heard what he said. Yep. Same shit, different place.
Same shit, different body, different coaching call. It's all the same.
Where is this showing up for you, Cody?
Yes.
Do you want to play, do you? We can play if you want.
That was what the Reiki teacher taught me when she was like, it's like, you'll notice people come in for like with a series of issues, and then you sort of tend to find that.
So, how are you, Leanne?
I'm pretty good. I've just been on the go. I've gone from work to seeing a client to just doing coaching calls. So I'm now here. Haven't had a chance to have a break and think about anything.
Mm-hmm. Anything specific that you want to go through today?
I did a fab session with Jess. I think for me, I still feel like I have trouble with the big picture. Seeing where things link together and trying to make sense of stuff.
What do you mean by that?
Like my offering, I get it from a coaching perspective, but from a package perspective of what am I incorporating in my package for people, I still don't have clarity on that.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Why not? Because I don't think I've committed to this is what I was talking to Jess about. Like, I still am coming from the thinking of an avatar and going the other way around, tipping that upside down and going from what am I passionate about and working down from there. I don't think I've made a commitment yet.
True. And
And it's that letting go and just sitting there and trusting in my capabilities without wanting to know the specifics.
mm-hmm. And which part of you has you want to know the specifics?
Which part of me? I'm a fairly structured person. That's how I guess that's my strategy for life, is to have everything quite structured and planned and detailed.
Mm-hmm.
My normal operating mode.
Mm-hmm. Do you think I have structure in these coaching sessions?
I think you have a plan for what you want to cover. Overall plan of what you want to cover. I know you go with the flow, but there's still stuff that you go, I'd like to get that covered at some point.
Mm-hmm. So the difference is when we're okay with having a plan and having structure, then we can create. And when we only need structure, we create addiction to it through our bipolar nature of holding on to that, which instantly creates a story of when I have structure, then I will be able to do it, then I'll be able to commit. So it plays a when-then game, creates a disconnect between the thing that we're actually looking at experiencing, because the truth of it is we don't actually want to experience it because there's something in the way from us having the willingness to have the commitment to experience it. So yes, 100%, the strategy is structure. The real question is what's in the way?
I think it's giving it a go and failing at it.
Mhm. So it's in the way.
It's getting my head around the being bit of it.
Mhm.
I know I shouldn't be saying get my head around it, should I?
Mm.
There you go.
Yeah. The reality is in the majority of instances, and when I say the majority, I'm talking 90%, 90% of instances, what's in the way is something which is unfelt.
That's unfelt.
So something which is a feeling or a sensation or an emotion which is incomplete, which is running under the surface, which is creating a sabotage mechanism. A strategy is in the mind. A strategy is what we throw up because that was our strategy for success that we created in the instant where we didn't actually feel what was actually coming up for us. So how we create a strategy is, Jess, when your dad had that experience, there was feelings and emotions and sensations that came up. Inherently, you create a strategy to cope with that. And what happens is our reptile brain instantly goes, all right, we can fight, we can flight, we can freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Which one am I going to go to? Awesome. I'm going to freeze. Cool. That worked. Awesome. We're going to use that all the time from now on. Like, am I going to survive? Okay. Don't think so. Fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. Freeze doesn't work. All right. Let's go to flight. Can't run. Okay. Well, I've got to flight. I've got to fight. And what happens is, as a child, we create all these associations between our response, which comes up in that instance, to instantly create the strategy. And the strategy serves us as an effective resource in a survival situation, and it becomes unresourceful when our life is not at risk.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we play out those same strategies unconsciously, whether we're aware of it or not. So, tell me the story again, Jess.
About my dad.
Yep, your dad hurt his back.
My dad hurt his back. He was in a lot of pain. He couldn't go to work. Ended up having a legal battle to get money to support the family. Eventually, my mum needed to go out to find work to support the family.
Mm-hmm. And how did that impact you?
It's funny, I never even processed it. It was only just to come up today. Like, one of the things I do remember is how I used to hate seeing my dad get upset about not being able to do things with us. Like, we'd go to sort of, say, like the Royal Show or whatever, and he'd want to get on a show ride with us, but he couldn't because of his back. Yeah, and I think, seeing my mum and dad fight about money as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So when you think back to that experience, what's the what was the story that you created out of that? That's why I
was spaghetti at the wall, but I thought maybe that might be why I can't have. Well, I've told myself that I can't have what I want.
Mm-hmm. So why is it you can't have what you want?
Because sometimes life's not fair.
Life's not fair. Still on? What else? Cool. So let's translate. I'm unable to have what I want is really, it's unsafe to have what I want. So what we're really looking at doing is we're finding that point where you created that it's unsafe to have what I want. And then being with the sensations and the tension that created the strategy in the first place, which negates the need for the strategy. So the question is, when did you start that?
And it was unsafe to have what I want.
So as you breathe into your body, and then you tune into your unconscious and tune into your body and tune back into the feedback loop of that, and you ask yourself, when was the first time that I had the experience of it being unsafe to have what I want? As you think through that, talk to think.
Talk to think.
So as thoughts come, you voice them, regardless of whether they are meaningful, meaningless, random or not. Talk to think.
Okay. What first come up was I was thinking about when I was born, and I was thinking about wanting to stay with my mum, that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally resisted that because I sort of felt like I would make that up. I'm like, it's a weird thing to make up, but
So wanting to stay with mum, how old were you?
yeah. Oh, I was just born.
As in days after, the day of?
Day of.
Day of. And as you think back to that memory, where does that come up in your body?
It's like panic in my heart.
Heart. And as you notice into the sensations of that, what do you notice?
It's like real desperation. It's like, I'm afraid I won't survive if I don't get it. Don't get back to her.
Mm-hmm. And as you just start to sit with those sensations and feel those sensations, and you start to breathe through those sensations, what do you notice?
But I told myself I wasn't safe on my own.
Mm-hmm. And as you explain the sensations that you're feeling right now, what do you notice?
It's fear. It's like it's a
So without labeling,
just the sensations.
just the sensations. So what do you notice? Where do you notice? How do you notice them shift? How do you notice them evolve? Are they heightening? Are they dropping? Are they circulating?
Yeah, they're dropping.
Explain that.
Yeah, it feels like it was like this sort of radiating fear out of my heart. It was just like, without labeling it, just felt like this energy shifting out of my heart, like rapidly, like a heat. And then, go on.
And as you think back to that memory, how long after you're born did this happen in terms of minutes?
3.
3 minutes. Do you know why you were separated?
I was an emergency C-section.
And as you think back to that experience and notice the sensations that come up and notice them, where they're coming up, where are they coming up for you?
Sort of feel them through my head as well. So it's sort of heart space to head space. That's it.
How does that feel around your head? Explain that to me. So explaining in sensations, no emotions.
It feels like there's like a cavity, sort of really central to that sort of pillar space running down my body. It feels like there's like a hollowness. Okay. Yeah, hollowness.
What about the sensation in your heart?
Certainly a quickening there. Yeah, the broken feeling.
And as you notice that broken feeling, how is that evolving? Is it heightening, diminishing? And how is that interacting with the sensations in your head?
Feels like a deadening in my heart. And as that sort of deadens, it's like that cavity kind of, even though it's there, it's kind of swept through.
And as you notice those sensations and be with those sensations, you start to notice the sensations as you start to think about the context of what was needed for you to survive in that instance. What was needed for your mum to survive in that instance. And creating awareness of the story that was created of every person that I love the most is going to leave me. Which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you just notice the sensations of that. And you notice how that strategy actually served you to survive in that context. How it was needed. How it was needed for both you and your mum. And now noticing the sensations and noticing the shift in those. As you breathe through them, sharing the sensations that you're noticing.
It's not as
So just talking to the sensations. What do you notice in your heart?
like smoothing out.
In which direction?
Horizontally.
What do you notice about the sensations in your head?
The dropping down doesn't sort of feel as high up anymore. It's sort of slowly receding.
What are the other sensations that you notice?
Yeah, feeling something sort of in my womb space as well.
Mm-hmm. Explain that to me.
Like a dull ache.
When did that begin? As you tune into the sensation, when did that first start?
No, sorry.
Mm-hmm. And if you were to communicate what sensations that you're noticing right now, what would you communicate?
I still feel in that heart space. My head's okay now. Just that ache.
Mm-hmm. When you return to that memory of being 3 minutes old, what do you notice about the sensations?
They feel softer.
If you were to communicate and explain those, how would you explain those?
More gratitude there now. But to speak to the sensations. They're really softened out. That, yeah. Hardly feel them anymore.
And as you think back to that memory once again, what do you notice about the sensations?
And they're gone.
And as you think to the sensations in your womb that were created at 3 years old, what do you notice?
And it's shifted now. I wouldn't describe it as an ache anymore.
How would you describe it?
Hmm. It's kind of like an ebb and a flow feeling.
As you breathe through that ebb and that flow feeling, what do you notice about the rest of your body?
Notice it through the rest of my body. Same ebb and flow feeling.
What do you notice about the sensations now?
There's nothing that really stands out.
Mm-hmm. And as you bring consciousness back to your breath, and slowly returning, slowly opening your eyes. How do you feel about that now?
It's a lot more calm and centered.
How do you feel about having what you want? What are the sensations that you notice around that? Keeping your eyes open.
Kind of got like a tingly feeling over the back of my head, like sort of like creepy like fingers running up the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And as you think about with your eyes open, the sensations of having what you want, what do you notice?
I don't want to have what I want.
Well, that's true.
This is a slight resistance, which is like,
So why is it, what has you not want to have what you want?
proves that unworthiness thing wrong.
Park. There goes all your stories, right?
Mm.
Rather hold on to that, right?
Apparently so.
Welcome to being human. Good start, eh? Hey, Julie, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm just in the car driving now with Marks and the doggies.
Show me the doggos.
Hang on. They're so super anxious at the moment. If you can see
Love
them. Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not freaking out just yet. Look, Kona's got the shivers on. Poor Bubba. So yeah, how's everyone? Very nice investigation, Jess. It's the same with me, the unworthiness. It's like, yep, same story. It's so funny. I want this thing, but I don't really want it because if I get it, then I have to face all my other stuff. I'm like, no thanks.
Classic humans.
And I'm not being rebellious by going to Bright. The government said if it's a holiday house, you're allowed to go. So I was like, I was going to play by the rules. And I'm like, oh, well, now it's written in writing. We're not going to get any fines, so we can go. Change the scenery. Not stuck in my house.
Maybe you can do the blindfold homework up there.
Maybe. Anyway, what are you guys talking about? Quick diversion. Mark's here. Mark, say
Hi.
See, I won't be talking about that when he's in the car.
Love it.
Yeah,
Is
so
there anything
what do you
specific
guys
you want to go through?
I don't have anything specific. I was just going to listen to you guys. I've been doing Christine Hassler. She had these videos on confidence, self-worthiness and love. So I watched the confidence one and it makes more sense. And I've still got the other ones to watch. And Laura said obviously about that PH360 to watch that you did today as well. So it'll be interesting.
Cool.
Because they're my three things I want to dive into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Leanne, do you have anything?
Yep, we're talking about Leanne's strategy that she's utilizing to create that she needs big picture and strategy to be able to move forward in her business, which is ultimately just bullshit.
Yeah. Are you more because Cody, you know how you say that there's either big picture and then there's small, like going into the details? So Leanne, do you go more into small details normally anyway? Just normal thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so how far have you gotten into it, Cody? We haven't started.
No, we're just working through different processes. You know how it rolls.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. I'll probably put myself on mute most of the time because it's a bit noisy.
It's all good.
So is small picture the natural way of being for a connector?
It depends. So big picture detail. Detail is highlighted much more for sensors, diplomats, activators. What did I say? What was I talking about? Big picture. Detail. Okay, so I'm talking about detail. Detail is more evident for sensors, diplomats, and then Crusaders is more big picture. I feel Guardians would be more big picture, but in a different context. And then it very much depends for a Crusader activator based on their expression and their secondary types. So cool. So the real question, Leanne, is what has you not want to move forward in your business?
You say what has?
What has you? So again, it's just another framing question. What has you do that? And it really doesn't matter what your answer is, because the real thing is we're trying to get to the feeling. So when we think back, okay, I think we need to chunk a little bit more on it. So what's the underlying fear that you have of, was it failing in your business?
I'm trying to work out if that's BS or is it.
So again, talk to think. So like there's going to be components of BS, and the more that you explain it, the more that I'll be able to determine which parts are and which parts aren't.
Okay. Well, what came into my head is it more the being seen than the failing?
Mm-hmm. So being seen or failing. And which one are you more afraid of?
Being seen.
Mm-hmm. And what would happen if you're seen to fail? Cool.
I would feel devastated.
Yep, you feel devastated. And when was the first time that you experienced being seen to fail and you felt devastated?
I have a vague memory of being at a swimming carnival, school swimming carnival. And I thought it was around how I had treated my sister.
Where are you feeling that in your body?
In my sternum.
Sternum?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. How did you treat your sister?
I think I lied. That's all that's the feeling I get, that I'd lied and I was called out on my lie.
Mm-hmm. And where do you notice that in your body?
Top of my chest.
Mm-hmm. When you think back to that memory, how old were you?
I reckon about 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm. And as you think back to that experience of being seen to fail and the feeling of feeling devastated, how would you explain that sensation?
It's like a warm, it's not even warm, it's like a hot spiky ball coming up.
Where?
right in front of my chest and coming up to my throat.
Uh-huh. And did you notice those sensations? Or what are the sensations doing now?
It's like it's swirling.
And as you breathe into those sensations, you notice the sensations that come up of being seen to fail and feeling devastated. What do you notice about those sensations?
It's like it's expanding out of me.
Mm-hmm. As you notice those sensations, do you also notice that it's safe to be in your body?
I feel like I've shrunk and I've got very small.
Mm-hmm. And you're still in your body?
Mm-hmm.
And as you notice those sensations and you notice that experience of smallness, what are the sensations that come up?
It's like it's a blackness. It's I feel like almost I want to push the edges out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm being constricted.
Mm-hmm. As you notice and sit with those sensations, and notice that it's safe to experience the sensations. Notice that it's safe to feel the feelings. What do you notice as you breathe through those sensations?
I noticed I was holding myself really tight.
Mm-hmm. Where?
In my knees, in my fists.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I breathe into it, the more I can relax.
Mm-hmm. And as you think back to your memory, think back just that little bit further to what is it that had you lie in the first place? What is that sensation? Where do you notice that in your body?
In my jaw.
Mm-hmm. Notice it in your jaw. Where else?
Across my forehead.
Mm-hmm. Where else?
feel like clenching my teeth.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice that sensation and breathe through that sensation, go back just that little bit further to the sensation that created that. Where do you notice that?
It's like a sinking feeling in my heart.
Sinking in your heart. Mm-hmm. And as you feel into that sensation, are there any memories that come up with that?
Embarrassment is all I get.
Mm-hmm. Are there any memories or just feelings and sensations?
Just feeling and sensations.
Mm-hmm. Who else was there to notice the embarrassment?
My mum and my sister.
What are you noticing about the sensations as you breathe into them, of the sinking in your heart?
It felt quite piercing to start off with. It's not as sharp now.
Mm-hmm. And as you breathe into that, what do you notice?
I have an awareness that there are other people around me.
Mm-hmm. Who else is around you?
Schoolmates.
What are they doing?
I feel like I'm being mocked.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice that, where do you notice that in your body?
That's even further in my heart.
As you breathe into those sensations, what do you notice about them?
It's like my airways constricted.
Mm-hmm. So as you notice the airways constricted, You notice the sensations in your heart, you notice your airway constricting, you notice both sensations. What's the strategy that you create to make it stop?
I feel like I'm holding my breath.
Mm-hmm. Do you go to freeze first?
Yep.
And then everyone began to mock you.
It's like it's almost like I want to throw a tantrum, but I'm standing there with my fists holding it in.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice those sensations, you notice those sensations in your arm, you notice those sensations in your throat, in your heart. And you just sit with those sensations. What else do you notice?
I'm holding my breath. There's a nervousness there.
And as you notice that nervousness, where do you feel that in your body?
It's like a fluttering top of my
Yeah.
chest.
Top of your chest. What is it that you wanted to say but weren't able to?
That it wasn't my fault.
What wasn't your fault?
Being mean.
Being mean?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you mean to?
My sister.
And as you notice the sensations of wanting to be able to say that but not being able to, what do you notice? What do you notice about the sensations?
Just feel like everything's gone to grey.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice it going to grey, what else do you notice?
feel quite cold.
Mhm. And as you go back into your memory, just that little bit further again, and you go back to the point of before you lied, before you were mean, just before that. What do you notice in your body there?
Panic.
And you go back before the panic, what do you notice? What was the event that had you panic?
Not being seen for who I was.
And who were you that you were not seen as? And then who were you
Kind.
seen as?
I was not being seen as kind and caring and nice.
And who were you?
I was trying to be noticed.
For what purpose?
Because I was tired of being in her shadow.
What were you trying to prove? And as you notice the sensations of that, what do you notice?
That I'm sad.
Mm-hmm. As you go to the sensations rather than the emotions, what do you notice? Where do you notice them?
In my heart, in my back of my throat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a lump in my throat. And I feel like my heart's cracking open.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice that sensation, you notice that cracking open, how would you explain that in terms of directions? Cracking from the middle, cracking from the sides, crumbling.
From the middle out.
And as you notice those sensations, both in your heart and in your throat, As you breathe into those sensations, and as you breathe into the understanding, as you breathe into the knowingness, but in the story of being tied to be in her shadow, you had unconsciously created your own shadow. To be seen, to be the center of attention. As you notice the sensations of that, and begin to love that strategy for allowing you to keep you safe in that instance. For allowing you to survive. For allowing you to create the drive that you had and have. And as you thank that strategy, what are the sensations that you notice now?
It's like a white, glowy, pulsating feeling in my chest.
Did you just sit with that sensation, or what do you notice about your throat?
There's no lump there.
What do you notice about your heart?
Feel like there's a depth to it.
Tell me more about that.
I don't feel like it's broken.
How does it feel then?
It's just solid.
If it had a color, what color would it be?
I want to say rainbow.
Mm. As you return to the sensation in your chest, what do you notice?
Getting bigger.
Mm-hmm. In which direction?
Up and out.
As you breathe into that, is that a sensation that you enjoy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that a sensation that it's safe to experience?
Yes.
Is that a sensation which is growing?
Yes.
What is that sensation representative of?
Trust
Trust in?
in me.
Which part of you?
My inner wisdom, my solidness.
Mm-hmm. And as you bring that trust and inner wisdom and solidness to your awareness, what are the sensations that you notice?
I feel like fireworky bits coming off the top of my head.
As you notice that movement of energy through your system right now, what is it that you want to communicate?
I feel like it's forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a letting go.
Is it safe to forgive?
Yeah.
Are you willing to forgive?
Yes.
Have you forgiven? Breathe into the sensations.
I have right now. Doing that now.
Breathe into the sensations. What are the sensations that you notice?
a lightness.
Where?
Basically from here above.
Videos off. Where's here? Above. Shoulders, heart.
It's from heart going up, and I feel it. I feel like lightheaded.
As you breathe into that sensation of lightheadedness, and you notice the energy that flows through. Notice the energy that flows out and also flows throughout all directions. As you notice those sensations, you be with those sensations. You breathe into those sensations. Notice that all of those sensations are safe. All of those noises are safe. And then what is it that you notice? What are the sensations you feel in your body?
I just feel like a swirling, and it's light.
Where specifically?
It's in my chest.
As you breathe into those sensations of that swirling in your chest, what is it that you notice about your capacity to trust yourself and trust your voice? As you notice those sensations, what do you notice about the sensations around your ability to trust your voice? And what are the sensations that come up as you bring that to your awareness?
I feel like there's this tension between my head and my throat.
Mm-hmm. As you notice that tension and sit with that tension, and breathe through that tension, and allow that tension, and sit with that tension and breathe through that tension. And as you return to the understanding and the knowing, of the power of your truth, of the need for your truth, the power of your voice, and the need for your voice. As you return to that understanding and that knowing, and the safety in that, and the safety in that. And the loving of strategy that has meant that you've censored yourself and dulled your voice. Or with the belief that it will allow other people to be safe. Or with the belief that that would be the best way to not hurt other people. Or with the loving of that strategy to allow you to survive. As you breathe through that sensation, as you connect the tongue to the roof of your mouth, as you bridge that gap from your heart to your mind, through that tongue, through that connection, connecting through your mind to the stars, and bridging that connection to the divine, to the cosmos. Knowing that your voice is a critical part in that connection to everything, to everyone, to yourself, your identity, as you go back down past your heart, down into the ground, nurturing that connection from the ground, through your body, through your voice, all the way to the stars, to the cosmos, to the divine. And just noticing the sensations of that connection that you have through your voice. To be able to voice what is true for you, knowing that it's safe to do so. And as you tune into that, what are the sensations that you notice around your throat? What are those sensations that you notice around your throat?
It's like there's a smoothness.
And as you sit with that smoothness, do you notice the energy flowing through that smoothness? Notice how that energy wants to move smoothly. As you bring your voice to your vision, that moves smoothly, and it's safe to do so, and it's safe for you to speak your truth. And it's safe to be connected to your body, to the earth, to the cosmos. Safe to be in all of your experience. And you sit with those sensations. You be with those sensations. And you allow those sensations. And as you shift to return to that memory with your sister, with your mum, with the other people mocking you, what is it that you notice about that memory now?
There's a dullness to it. It's the haziness around me.
Is that haziness indicative of?
That I don't care what anybody else thinks out there. Feel a vibration up through my feet, up through my core.
Where is that stopping?
Feel it in my heart radiating out.
Mm-hmm. As you tune back into your throat,
I don't feel anything in my throat.
as you tune back in to the top of your mouth and into your head, what is it that you notice?
I feel powerful in my head, on the top of my head.
And you notice that energy pulsating through your entire system. What is it that you will use that for?
I'm using that energy to bring people.
Just returning to the sensations, going back out of your head, back into your body. What does your body want to share around that?
I just feel a pulsating energy out. Like my hands are tingling.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice that sensation of your hands tingling and that energy pulsating through you, where do you choose to channel that?
Through my heart.
And as it leaves your heart, where does it go?
Outwards.
Does it go anywhere specific?
I feel like my arms are going out. I can feel the energy going out.
And as you radiate that energy out of you, where does that flow to?
I'm trying not to logic it.
And as you tune into the sensations again and return to your body and just return to the sensations, you notice the direction of the flow. Is there one person that flows to? And no is an answer.
It doesn't go to one person.
Is there a group of people that it goes to?
It's a community.
What community is that? Do you know the community, or is that the community that you need to create?
That's the community I need to create.
And how much do they need it?
They desperately need it.
Who are they waiting for?
Me to show up.
Who are you waiting for?
Nobody. I don't.
Tune back into the sensations. So notice the sensations. What are you waiting for? Who is the only person that can give that to you?
is me.
And as you begin to own the power of your voice and the need for your voice, what sensations do you notice in your throat? Any?
I'm trying to describe it. I feel like there's a lightness to my tongue. It's not furry.
Mm-hmm. And as you notice your throat, are there any sensations there?
It's more open. It's strong.
Is it ready to be utilized?
Yes.
What if I don't believe you?
What if I said, oh, yes?
What if I think you're full of shit?
You can believe what you want.
What if I know you're full of shit?
It's okay.
What if I mock you?
It's like water off a duck's back. I feel like there's an energy pulsating up and out my hands and doesn't touch me.
Whose energy is that?
That's my energy.
Mm-hmm. As you breathe into your body and the sensations of the body, what do you notice now?
I feel like I have this pulsating ball of energy sitting in my hands. And I can make that energy travel up. And that's what I tap into.
What you're here for? And how do you feel about all of that now?
pretty good.
What are you going to take from all of that out into the world from now on?
That I have an internal strength. And if I tap into that internal strength, that is where I get my solidness from.
Sounds exciting to me.
I know, and that's where I tap into my wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
To help other people.
Mm-hmm. Contribute to the world. How'd you go throughout that, Jess?
It's interesting.
In what way?
Knowing things before they were said. Some things that were unsaid as well.
How about you, Julie? How'd you?
So we just had to get out for the puppies as well. And Mark's got his coffee and bits and pieces. So I missed some bits and pieces. It's a lot of like obviously our NLP you're taking her through. I've gotten to why do you ask about the feelings and where they're actually based in the body? Like what does that actually mean?
So
Like if it's in the heart or if it's in the chest, like does it actually mean a specific thing or it's just feeling it through your body, being aware of the sensations?
within NLP, take people through a process to work out like their timelines and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Which has a limited context to the mind and accessing the unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
When we're tuning into your body is your unconscious.
Yeah.
Most times with timeline therapy or using just NLP processes, you're only accessing part of the experience. Majority of people have like kinesthetic learners, very much like based on their body and stored in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a mechanism of allowing people to experience the sensation. There's two components. One component is as you bring consciousness to the sensations, they become felt and allowed even more. So the more that I ask where they are, the more that brings consciousness and awareness to it and frames that the person is going to be in their body even more. And in some contexts, certain sensations will mean certain things. And again, and that's a day-long tangent in and of itself.
Fair enough.
So
learning that modality for you, like was that with the PH360 or was that somatic therapy or was that something totally different? How did you learn that? From a coaching perspective. Tell me all your secrets, Cody.
so that's a combination of multiple different things and modalities. It's ultimately just creating a mechanism of subtle body work.
Mm-hmm.
So we go through parts of that at different points. And then in the coaching certification for the guys that are going through that, I go through it in there, how to be able to do it at the level. It requires a foundation a lot of depth of foundational work to be able to get to that point as well.
It's just I noticed Christine Hassler does it a lot in her podcast. So I was just wondering, she's obviously done NLP, but she's done a hell of other stuff.
Yeah, and NLP is a great foundation.
Yeah.
And
Like a starting point.
yeah, NLP is one of the greatest foundations to be able to create access to the world of like energetics, because it's accessing it through the mind.
Yeah.
And a lot of the energetic work is going to be different for each practitioner as well. So
Say it again.
it's going to be different for each practitioner because some people are going to be more visual.
Yeah. Me. Yeah.
Body and a long tangent.
I'm just letting you know, my hands are still vibrating.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel now, Leanne? You're tingling in your fingers.
It's not tingly. It's like there's an energy. Like my hands are actually.
So as you bring them closer together as well, bring them closer here. Allow them to touch.
Oh yeah, you can feel the chi energy.
Yeah.
Start to come apart and just start to notice, and then bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also create capacity to be able to do that to certain parts of your body. So do hand on hand here like this in that context. The hand on top of the other hand.
Yeah.
Because then it's also like almost creating a loop.
Mm.
That's some of the
Can hear you then, Cody.
I guess you didn't need to hear me then, hey?
Nice haircut too, Cody.
I didn't hear you either.
No one heard me because obviously it wasn't to be heard. Internal joke. Did you hear me, Jess?
An internal joke.
My internal joke that I have with myself. So, homework.
Yeah, we're all so thrilled. Come on.
I'm going to get you to do your subtle body work daily. So I'll send you the recording for it.
I was just about to say, what do we do with that? Okay.
So you listen to it.
Yeah.
You do what it says.
Yeah.
So if we look at today in terms of the context is very much subtle body work based on a specific thing. Whereas the subtle body work recording is the process to go through to do that based on collapsing experiences. So collapsing all aspects.
So we can just keep using it over and over for different things, obviously.
Yeah, you can. It'll create. It's again a tool.
Okay.
So it will apply to certain contexts, and then other tools apply to other contexts. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Job done then.
Awesome.
Nice long one.
I'm
Thanks,
going to go
Cody.
and have a snooze now.
Funny. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Just notice the sensations as you go to sleep tonight.
Mm.
Both,
Will do.
both like with your eyes open and closed.
Should probably be out to it. Best deep sleep ever.
All right, fam.
All right, guys. See you
Thank
later.
you.
Till next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.